This is Joy Roland, and you are listening to the Joyful Money Podcast. This is episode number 70. Make abundance your reality. Welcome to Joyful Money, the podcast where we focus on making money the joyful way. We are done with the stress and anxiety that typically come with making money. We'll feature extraordinary and inspiring business owners who are making a huge impact by sharing their gifts and talents with the world. Pour yourself a cup of coffee or tea and let's go. Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode number 70 of the Joyful Money Podcast. As always, I hope you're doing very well. I hope you're making the most of life, of the weather. It's the summer here in Canada and it's just so beautiful. It's amazing and we are enjoying the beaches, we are enjoying the parks. Like it's just so amazing. So I hope you are making the most of the weather wherever you are. So today I want to talk about how you can make abundance your reality. Yes. Now, many times, like I've come across a lot of people, and many people are into affirmations, daily affirmations to create abundance, to create more money, to create more wealth. And yet, it seems like their lives just remain the same. And they keep saying all of these affirmations every single day. So it got me very curious. Why? And so I'm going to explore all of that in this episode. And my goal is for you to know exactly how to create abundance for yourself and your family, and for you to go out and do it. Because it's a different thing to know exactly how to do something, and it's a completely different ball game to actually go out and implement what you learn. So I'm hoping that in this episode, you're going to be an active listener. You're going to listen and you're going to take action. So, first of all, can we agree that abundance cannot be created from scarcity, from a feeling of scarcity? Can we just agree that first? I think that's the bedrock of everything I'm going to discuss on this podcast today. There is no way you can create abundance when you feel scarcity. No way. It's impossible. Think about it. How can you create abundance when you are feeling the feeling of scarcity? It's impossible to create abundance. So, if you want to create abundance, and I hope you do, otherwise, you wouldn't be listening to this podcast. If you do want to create abundance, you have to create abundance from the feeling of abundance. Yes. Oh gosh, this I love this topic so much. So you have to become skilled at generating the feeling of abundance. Okay? Now, this isn't fake it until you make it. No, 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 not at all. And this is exactly why all of those daily affirmations you read have no impact, right? Because you aren't seeing them from a place of feeling abundant. Okay. Also, I want to preface this episode by saying that scarcity only exists inside of us. Yes. If you look at nature, nature is infinitely abundant. There's abundance everywhere in nature, but somehow inside of the human experience, we've created scarcity in our minds. Okay. So if you want to truly create abundance, you have to go back to how nature intended it to be. You have to go back to how God designed humans to be. He designed us to be abundant. He designed us to have excess, to have overflow, to have wealth. Okay. So in order for you to truly become abundant and to create that feeling of abundance, you have to go back to the beginning. You have to go back to nature. You have to return to how you were intended to be, to how you were designed to be. Now, if we've agreed that to create abundance, we have to feel abundant, we have to go back to the thought model. So, if you've listened to this podcast for any length of time, you've heard me talk about the thought model. And the thought model is something I learned when I studied at the life coach school. And the thought model goes like this: everything starts with a thought, and our thoughts create our feelings drive our actions, and our actions ultimately determine our results. So, if we put the feeling of abundance in that thought model, the feeling of abundance will cause us to take specific actions, and those specific actions will be what creates abundance for us. The $1 million question is this: how do we create the feeling of abundance? And here's the answer: you create abundance. I mean, the feeling, right? Like I said, we have to feel abundant first in order to ultimately create the result of abundance. So, in order to create that feeling of abundance, we have to first of all determine what thoughts we need to be thinking in order to create the feeling of abundance. So, here's an example. When was the last time you felt the feeling of scarcity? I want you to go back to that time, and if you can remember, what were you thinking before you felt the feeling of scarcity? What were you thinking that generated the feeling of scarcity? Let me help you in case you don't remember. Examples are: you look at the interest rates and you say, oh gosh, the interest rates are so high. My mortgage is so high. My mortgage has gone up. Oh gosh, how am I going to survive? And then in that moment, you feel the feeling of scarcity. That's an example. So that simple thought of, oh gosh, look at the interest rate. The interest rate is going up. My mortgage is going up. That thought created that feeling of scarcity at that time for you. Now, we like to say circumstances are neutral. Okay. Why? Well, because circumstances are facts. These are facts that can be proven in a court of law. Okay. Now, your thoughts are very subjective. Your thoughts are your interpretation of the circumstances. So, in this example, this same example of the interest rates, somebody else, somewhere in the world, has the thought, oh gosh, the interest rate is great. The interest rate is in my favor. Okay. So, say, for example, someone experienced, okay, let me go far. Let's say someone came from Argentina, for example, an immigrant. And in Argentina, let's say the interest rates are like 20%, for example. And he's just landed in the US. And he's found that the interest rates in the US are just 5%. Guess what he's going to think? This guy is going to think, oh my gosh, the interest rates here are fantastic. Okay, so this is why I said your thoughts about the interest rates are very subjective, and you get to choose. You get to choose your thoughts. Yes, all of us, we have autonomy on our thoughts. And so you are choosing to think that interest rates are so high and my mortgage is going off the charts. How am I going to survive? You are choosing to think those thoughts. And so you have to take ownership of that. And you have to understand that those thoughts you're thinking are not creating the results you want. Okay, so let's go down the thought model with this same example. So you're thinking, oh my gosh, interest rates are so high, my mortgage is going off the charts. How am I going to survive? When you think that thought, you feel scarcity, you feel fear, you feel worry, you feel anxiety. Now, from that place of scarcity, what actions do you take? What do you do when you feel scarcity, when you feel anxiety, when you feel worry? I can promise you, you will not take empowered action. No. Instead, you will maybe try to drown up your worries, maybe turn to alcohol or food or drugs or whatever you use to um, calm your nerves. Okay. So this is why the thought model is so important because it shows you exactly why you are creating the results you have in your life. So when you keep thinking, oh my gosh, how am I going to survive? My mortgage rate has gone up so high. Gosh, I have so many debts. When you keep thinking those thoughts, can you see how you're creating the results you have? The results of scarcity, the results of never enough. Okay, so that's one side of the thought model. So, if you want to create abundance, like we said, you have to intentionally generate the feeling of abundance. And so, what kind of thoughts would you be thinking to feel abundant? Here's an example. I would think to myself, oh my gosh, I am so blessed. Look at the lovely home I have. Look at my daughter. Look, I have a coaching business I absolutely love. Wow, I get to live in a country where we are free and blessed. This great country, Canada. We have so much abundance here. We have gold, we have oil, we have amazing human resources, we have technology. I am so blessed to be living in this country. And I'm so blessed I get to work in a job I love, my coaching business. Oh gosh, I'm so blessed. Now, when I'm thinking all of those thoughts, guess my next action. What action do you think I would take when I'm thinking those thoughts? Yes, you're right. When I think those thoughts, I actually come to take empowered action in my business. I talk to more people about my business. I make offers. I show up online. I record this podcast. I print out flyers for my next event. I just do things and take empowered action in my business. And what's the result? What result would I create when I take all of those actions? Yes, I would sign more clients. I'll make more money. I'll make more sales. Exactly right. So, I hope you see very clearly how you are choosing to create the results you have in your business. Why? Because you are choosing the thoughts that you think. Okay, so based on all of these examples, I actually looked at my life and I said, okay, how can I guide someone to make abundance a reality? And I actually came up with 6 points, and I'm going to share those 6 points with you. Number one, you have to believe at a cellular level that abundance is available to you, that you deserve abundance, and that you can create abundance. So, like I said, this isn't fake it until you make it. You have to believe at your core that abundance is available to you. And like I said, when you look in nature and you look at all of the abundance we have around us, you begin to understand that, yes, abundance is available to you. Step number two is to accept responsibility as a creator. Yes, you have to realize that you are the creator of your destiny. Yes, there's a section in the Bible that says, ye are gods. Did you know that God created us in His likeness. And so on earth, we are gods and we get to create. We are creators. So you have to start seeing your responsibility as a creator, and you have to start taking your responsibility very, very seriously. You have to stop thinking that things just happen to you and that you have no control. This is what so many people think. Oh, I have no control over the interest rate, so there's nothing I can do. Well, you can choose your thoughts. How about that? So take responsibility as a creator and stop thinking that things just happen to you. Step number 3 is to decide what you need to be thinking in order to feel abundance. So I gave you my example. You can go back and re-listen and maybe borrow my thoughts, the thoughts I use that I believe at a cellular level. And those thoughts help me to create the feeling of abundance. Now, you don't just do this one time and you think that's it. No, it's a daily practice, just like you brush your teeth every single day. You have to practice those thoughts that help you create a feeling of abundance. You have to do this every single day and say, okay, I want to feel abundant today. What thoughts should I be thinking? Step number 4 is to decide on a wealth creation plan. Decide on a wealth creation path and just stick to that path. Stop jumping from one business idea to the other. This is one of the problems I see with many people. They change business ideas, they change offers, and they try different things, and they're jumping from one thing to the other. And they never give one business idea enough time and effort to make it succeed. So today you get to draw a line in the sand and say, okay, this is my one business idea. This is my path to wealth. I'm going to stick with it and I'm going to make it work. And here's the thing. When you look at different professions and you look at different business areas, you see that there are multimillionaires in different areas. There are multimillionaires in real estate, multimillionaires in finance, multimillionaires in the coaching business, multimillionaires in consulting. So you have to decide what it is you want to do and just stick with it and make it work. Number 5, get rid of plan B. Yes, this is something that holds a lot of people back. You have a plan B and you say, if my business doesn't work, this is my plan B. And guess what? Your business will not work. Why? Because at the back of your mind, you're already planning for your business not to work. And so you have that plan B. You have to get rid of your plan B. You have to burn the bridges and just go head on. Focus on your goal and you make it happen. And that leads me to step number 6. You go all in until you succeed. There is no going back. There is no giving up. Will there be times when you feel overwhelmed? Yes, there will be. And you take a break. But you keep going. You keep going until you succeed. And when you look at society, when you look at people who have created massive successes in society, they are the people that never give up. I promise you, if you keep going, you will succeed. And when you keep going with the mindset of it is done, right? I call this the done deal energy. When you show up with the done deal energy and you know success is inevitable for you, then guess what? You will create success. That's all I have for you today, my friend. I hope you actively listen to all of these points I've listed out today and you take action because ultimately, I want you to be successful. That is why I do this podcast. I want you to be successful. I want you to take action. And guess what? Action leads to results. I'll see you back here in the next episode. Hey, very quickly before you go, If this podcast inspired or encouraged you in any way, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts and share this with a friend. It means a lot to us, and we appreciate your kindness and generosity in doing this. We'll see you back here on the next episode. Bye-bye.